is addressing the media. Let's take a listen in.
Channels exceeded their local content and genre quotas as set by the Independent Communications Authority of South Africa, ICASA. The SABC's mandate to broadcast sports of national interest was also realized despite the rising cost of sports rights and the absence of a dedicated sports channel. Consistently, there has been concerns raised on the financial viability of the broadcaster within the current regulatory and legal frameworks, which place an obligation on the SABC to pursue and deliver on a public mandate that is largely unfunded and further compromised by the low levels of income generated from TV license fees. Equally, there are also historical governance and financial management issues that have previously been identified at the SABC. These were vented in the parliamentary inquiry into the SABC, the Public Protector's report, and other ongoing investigations by the SIU. In the 2017-2018 financial year, the SABC had a net loss of 622 million compared to 977 million in the 2016-2017 financial year. As presented in the annual report, there's been significant progress made on clearing all internal and external audit findings to improve internal controls. The Auditor General has highlighted seriously the viability of the SABC as a going concern, and to this end, as the shareholder, working together with the board, our engagements with the National Treasury have been concluded, and as of a day ago, National Treasury has granted consent for the SABC to increase its borrowing limits from the capital markets in line with the Public Finance Management Act and the Broadcasting Act. We do believe that we have the right skills in the board and management to drive a robust turnaround strategy that will lead the broadcaster on a new path towards a public broadcaster that embodies sound corporate and financial management. We are pleased that the current board of the SABC has ably begun to set the SABC on a path to stability and recovery. To date, the SABC has successfully appointed competent persons to the positions of Group Chief Executive Officer, Group Chief Operations Officer, and the Group Chief Financial Officer, the Head of News and Group Executive for Corporate Affairs and Marketing. The above appointments reflect the commitment by the board and the shareholder to ensure that we stabilize governance at the broadcaster, and together will soon finalize a memorandum of incorporation between the minister and the board, and thereafter will unveil a turnaround strategy for the SABC, which I can confirm has been presented to me earlier this afternoon for our own consideration. We have, following our interaction between the SABC and government, put together a turnaround task team comprising the Department of Communication, National Treasury, and the SABC. The National Treasury has assigned a turnaround specialist to look into the strategy that originates from the work done by the collective of the management at the SABC. This strategy seeks to provide a holistic assessment on the broadcaster and identify means and ways to guarantee the future sustainability of the SABC. At this stage, the board and management have presented to myself on the current financial challenges at the SABC and have assured us that employees of the broadcaster will continue to receive their salaries as per the norm and without prejudice. Equally, suppliers owed by the broadcaster have been in engagement with the SABC, and there's been progress in effecting payments to creditors. Monies raised through the process consented to by National Treasury will also be used to pay creditors, including independent producers, Centec, and South African Football Association. And we are quite confident that in line with the payment plan that the SABC has put together, will be able to attend to these issues. Secondly, These funds will be utilized to acquire new content, to replenish the current content offering so as to attract new audiences, thus generating commercial revenues, but also bring back home those that have walked away from the SABC. As a responsible government, we will not allow the SABC to collapse and are committed to providing the board and management with our continued support to ensure that this national asset continues to serve millions of South Africans with information, knowledge and entertainment. Lastly, together with the SABC, we will, on Thursday the 6th of September, host a colloquium under the theme Building a Resilient Public Broadcaster at Gallagher Estate in Midrand, Johannesburg. The main objective of this colloquium is to engage and give input on the public broadcaster we need towards the digital, multi-channel environment of the future, the SABC we want. Various stakeholders have participated in the broadcasting policy review process and submissions have been received. We are determined to create an enabling environment for broadcasting to thrive in South Africa and especially the SABC, and to provide the country with the best broadcasting services and content with the digital environment. And as I conclude, I would still want to reassure both the workers and the people of South Africa that indeed, through working together with the Minister of Finance, we have been able to give the necessary support for the SABC to have an increased borrowing limit that would be able to deal with the historical challenges that even the Auditor General has alluded to, because the primary challenges of the SABC have to do with the historical debt, the commitments that have been made, and of importance, issues around content and quality of that particular content. We also quite satisfied that even at the level of the AGM that was held a week ago, one of the things that has been reconfirmed is collaboration and partnership in putting together a strategy of the SABC for the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Minister. We can open the floor for questions. I think let's start in Cape Town and then I'll move to Pretoria. I think Bulalani is the first question I see. Any other hand? That's it. Okay. Shoot.
Hi, Minister. Bulalani from SABC. You mentioned that Treasury has approved borrowing capacity of the SABC. One, is that a guarantee? And secondly, to what value is that borrowing capacity increased?
Thanks, Bulalani. Any questions in Pretoria? Rawili?
No questions from Pretoria, thank you.
No questions from Pretoria. And then I've got a last hand here in Cape Town. Yes, sir.
Okay, just a follow-up to my colleague, Abongo Kogana from the SABC. He spoke of the value, Minister. I don't know if you are able to give a figure, perhaps, what exactly is still about. Thanks.
Standing down.
Thank you very much, Minister.
Yes, the SABC has been given borrowing powers and a borrowing limit of up to 1.2 billion by National Treasury, in line with the PFMA, as well as in line with the responsibilities of the Board of Directors of the South African Broadcasting Corporation.
Thanks. Any further questions, colleagues? Going once, twice. Okay, that's a quick one. Do you have anything, Willie, in Pretoria?
I think in Pretoria we are satisfied.
No, that's fine. Thanks, Willie. Last question from the front.
Thanks.
Communications Minister Nomvula Mokonyane addressing the media there about the SABC and what's currently happening now. She spoke about a turnaround committee that's made up of people from the Department of Communications, from Treasury and the SABC. Spoke about how the public broadcaster is being turned around with competent appointments such as the GCEO, GCOO and the new CFO. The borrowing powers and borrowing capacity of 1.2 billion rand from Treasury, which is going to help buy new content and generate money for the public broadcaster that is ailing in its finances. It's time for a short break. I'll have your sports news when we come back. Do stay with us.